Ba, 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 ba.
Dun-dun, dun-dun,
Pew.
do-do-do-do.
Ba, 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 ba.
Dun-dun, dun-dun,
Pew, pew, pew,
do-do-do-do.
pew, pew. Ba,
What
ba,
the-
ba, 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 ba.
Rob went 14-1 in this last week's pick'ems. And now here's Coach with a
Coach!
laser pistol, apparently.
Laser pistol!
Anyway, and Bear's here
Okay.
too.
I'm trapped in a well. Please, someone get me out of the well.
And Rob's trapped in the well. Bear.
That's the Jets well. You can't get out of there.
You really
Um,
can't.
No,
Keep
as
pulling
soon as you fall in that well, it's all over.
If you keep
Please.
digging, you'll hit Redskin territory.
Yeah.
Well,
And then you got to get even deeper to get to the Bengals.
man, that's just a sad.
Bungles.
That's a sad place to be. How's it going, everybody?
Great.
Um,
You know.
So it's week 11 to 12 now. We're in the back end now.
We're into ESPN playoff picture territory.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, for two of us.
Man, I've been out of that show for 2 years, and it's great to be back.
Yeah. Been out of that show for 10 years and still sucks.
Yep.
The Bucks have the longest playoff-less streak in the entire league,
Man.
so I don't want to hear it from
Last
anyone.
time I ever
Except
picked the
Rob.
Buccaneers in pick'ems.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Why'd you do that?
I don't know.
Picked him against the Saints, you silly
That's-
bastard.
I don't know
That
what I
a
was
little bit
doing.
Weird.
And we have everything is right in the world, Coach. Once
Mhm.
again, the lead is back to me. 2.5 games up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hippo Nora.
But-
and-
Important to note, as Invicta has already noted in the intro song, I went 14-1, motherfucker.
Congratulations.
Holy
Bam, 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 bam.
Feels good.
mean,
Now,
it's no-
Sin, you
it's
went
no
14-1 as well, right?
No, I went 15-1.
You know, 15-1.
He did go 15.
Mm.
It's true.
I mean, it's a spirited effort, Rob. I feel very proud of you. I'm glad your win percentage was almost as good as mine, but
I'm now. If you look at that graph,
Look
see
at
the little
this
spike? Look at that.
graph.
I'm right in the running, motherfuckers. I'm back in.
All right. Well, I mean, you're still down by quite a bit, but we're rooting for you.
I like the bonus stats here. It's actually interesting. This is the 4th consecutive week we've swapped positions.
I'm really enjoying the
shit.
bonus stats on the graph as well. Most of them cater to me.
To Bear. Sorry, Bear. There's a lot of sorry Bears on there, but I wanted to say before Rob cut me off, I was going to say thank you as well to Pixel Haven, who's also been helping Hippo Nora get the extra stats up, and thank you both very much for streamlining it because now this is much easier to read.
This all looks really cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's super legit. Like, it's really again, and I want to further reiterate, they're doing this literally out of the kindness of their own
Yeah.
hearts and because they like the podcast. So sincerely, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very
But
much.
that doesn't mean it's immune to criticism, though.
Yeah, you sons of bitches.
Get it in
You better
quicker
work
next time.
harder.
Get
Get
it in
the
to wait
quicker.
like
And
12
update-
hours.
Keep
Get
updating
in
the
graph
graphics.
room.
Look,
All right.
it's like somebody like coming back home and say, "Hey, by the way, I picked you up lunch." Okay, cool. What'd you get me? Yeah, I got you this veggie burger. It's like, well, I mean, you didn't have to.
Really, you
Yo.
didn't have to.
Hey, I had a veggie burger the other day. I had the Impossible Whopper from Burger King.
How was it?
Ooh.
Was it
From
Impossible?
Burger King, it wasn't great from Burger King, to be honest.
All right.
It's honestly better from White Castle. Like White Castle cooked the Impossible Burger better. To
You
be
had
honest,
a White Castle Impossible Burger?
dude, they're pretty good. like straight up. I when we had them, we got some Impossible Burgers and or Impossible Sliders. That's what they sell at White Castle. And the regular sliders. No joke. Everyone at the table, we're all like heavy meat eaters. Like I
Right.
eat meat with every meal. We preferred the Impossible Sliders to the White Castle.
How much is
like-
big vegetable paying you, Rob?
Yeah,
Come on.
Rob.
To be
I'm just
fair,
saying, Impossible
White
Burgers,
Castle
they're pretty good,
sliders
man.
are like the least close to actual meat you're gonna get.
Yeah, honestly, there might be more meat matter in the Impossible Burger.
Yeah. It really might.
White Castle patty.
I've eaten
yeah.
White Castle once, and I was not impressed. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I can say I've done that, but
Just
It's
usually gives me diarrhea.
it's
That's
a lot
our
of
White
grease.
Castle review for the week.
Yeah.
And
I'll
that's
give everyone
your
three
white,
guys in a bowel movement.
that's your White Castle
Hey,
review of the
that's-
week.
I don't want to be known as that.
Granted, I did review the Popeyes chicken sandwich on my YouTube channel.
Oh
and
shit.
It was pretty good to the point where I've gotten it a few more times.
Well, that spoils the review. I don't need to go watch it now.
Yeah, really.
Well,
yeah.
it's
Rob's,
still
Rob's
quality,
muscling
you know.
in on Krendor's level of content now.
Yeah, back off. Anyway, let's talk about football.
Yeah,
Let's
That
start.
is the name of the show.
Let's start with the Browns beating the Steelers and Myles Garrett beating Mason Rudolph over the head.
Yeah, right. I forgot that we missed. There's a podcast in between these events because it happened on Thursday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, you've been waiting to say that one, huh?
I actually just thought of it right now. I'm not even
really-
lying.
That's quite good.
Thank you.
Big
Yeah.
fan.
I'm an improvisational, mastermind, if you will.
Myles Garrett should be in jail, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
straight up. Like that's
So-
assault with a deadly weapon. Like that's
Yeah.
But
So
there's yeah, go for it, Coach.
I was gonna say, first off, there's the football game. And the Browns managed to beat the Steelers, who we thought were like on the rise. At least I thought
Yeah.
they were on the rise.
I
But then,
think
we were- We were
Honestly.
real wrong on that one.
well, I think
Mhm.
their defense is good. I think their offense is the level of the Bears.
Well, their
It's-
defense was good, and then their best player decided to become a juvenile delinquent for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was over by then, to be fair, but
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like that's what makes that whole debacle so ridiculous is
Mhm.
that
debacle.
it is debacle. Is because the game was fucking over and
Yeah.
Myles Garrett was about to win the game. And
Yeah.
then he decided to commit assault with a deadly weapon for some reason.
Mhm.
It's maddening, but yeah.
yeah.
I've never seen anything that wild on a football field as long as I've ever lived. What's crazy to me is that people are trying to pin it on Mason Rudolph, as in he's the one who started, because he apparently tried
Yeah.
to go for a kick to the crotch on Myles Garrett. But the thing is, like, and they keep saying that he's the one who started it. I don't know what kind of amazing drugs these people were smoking, but if they didn't see the video, like Myles Garrett held on, he drove him to the ground and still held on after that. Anything past that is not that is just retaliatory on Mason Rudolph's part. I don't even like either one of them.
And beyond that, by the way, it is even less his fault at so-called starting it, because that was a late hit on an inconsequential play in garbage time against
on
a
a
QB
quarterback.
who very
Yeah.
clearly did not have the ball. Like it was just a dirty cheap shot because he felt like it. And then yes, Mason Rudolph, when he was on the ground, he got pissed and he started grabbing at his helmet.
grabbed a
He was trying to take off
I mean,
Myles Garrett's helmet. I think that was a bad thing. He shouldn't have done that. And I said beforehand, he
on
should get
so many
fined for that.
levels indefensible, and like you're saying, Sin, like those people are absolutely insane. Like even Myles Garrett is coming forward and being like, yeah, that was really stupid, I shouldn't have done that, I fucked up completely, my bad, and
Yeah.
I deserve the punishment. Like he himself is saying this. Like anyone trying to come to his defense is ridiculous at this point. It is just so completely a flagrant foul of the highest order.
It's not the worst take, because we've already talked about what was the worst take, and I'm not even going to bring that up on the show. But one of the second worst takes was the fact that Mason Rudolph started. And I even saw this whole like narrative made it to ESPN, and I've seen all this sort of evidence that people are trying to point to that Mason Rudolph started. It is all absolutely asinine and insane.
Yeah.
There is no reason for Garrett to hold on as long as he did, to drive a quarterback down to the ground like he did, and then continue to lay on him and hold him there at the end of a game on a quarterback.
And then honestly, I think the even further step is, okay, let's assume Mason Rudolph started it, right? Does that then suddenly make it all right for him to get smashed in the fucking head with a helmet?
No, exactly.
Like,
even if we play those hypotheticals, here's the reality of what actually happened. Mason didn't physically do anything to Myles Garrett. Whether or not he could have, it doesn't matter. But like, Myles took his helmet off of him and he did smash him in the head with it. That's the reality of what happened.
That's what it's amazing that we're like fighting in the minutia over this. Like one person, like if a guy attacked someone else with a fucking machete and he slashed him a bunch of times, would you then go to the guy who like would you go back to the tape and be like,
himself. He would have hurt him.
like, did you see the guy who got macheted? You know, he said that his mom smelled. So Judge, I just gotta say, he started it, so
the thing
therefore,
is, like, it's
Machete Man's exonerated.
in addition to getting
works.
hit in the head, like he ripped his helmet off his head.
Yeah.
Like,
That alone is like, what the fuck are you doing?
On top of that, he was trying to be separated by the Steelers offensive lineman. He purposely reached over them to hit Mason Rudolph over the head with said helmet, and which could have. And there have been people out there sensationalized it, or trying to say that it's sensationalized that so and so could have been killed or whatever. As someone who has played football, let me tell you something. If Garrett had hit Mason Rudolph on the head with the temple of the helmet, that absolutely could have killed him.
Absolutely.
You saw with the back. The part of the helmet that made contact with the back of at the top of Mason Rudolph's head was the back cushion part where basically the neck hole is. So guys have the ability to pivot and rotate their helmets while they're wearing it. If that had been turned around and he'd hit him with the crown of the helmet, that not only could that have actually like killed him instantly, it could have ended at least at the very. I mean, death, of course, is at the absolute worst end of the spectrum. At the very least, that could have absolutely broken his neck or given him a massive concussion, fractured his skull. I mean, with the velocity that he was swinging it, Mason Rudolph is luckily that it was the back.
With a massive man putting his full strength into the fucking thing.
That's not just any massive man. That is Myles fucking Garrett, who's a defensive end, some of the biggest players on the football field. He's like 300 pounds of pure muscle. And you're swinging fiberglass at somebody's fucking head. It's insane. It's insane.
For anyone thinking that it was in the heat of the moment sort of thing, you also have to remember, for those of you who are not in the know, that Myles Garrett has also had a habitual issue with flagrant penalties and fouls and fines and stuff. So this is not someone who just lost his cool in an isolated incident. He is someone who has had problems with disciplinary actions before. So, all that being said, we're glad that at least Mason Rudolph was able to just walk it off, because man, that was assault. I mean, that was straight up assault. I've never seen someone commit assault in front of so many thousands, millions of pairs of eyes out there.
Yeah.
I remember the what do you call it? The Hard Knocks with him. They had him like writing poetry. And he's just like, I just write poetry in my spare time to zen out and everything. It's like, maybe you got to write some more poetry, because it's not working right now.
Yeah, like go for longer. Maybe you're writing haikus. Maybe spend a little bit more time.
A couple limericks in there.
Yeah.
But overall, the Browns won, and they're only a game back of the Steelers now. So.
And like the way we talked about that game is honestly probably how the Browns feel about this win. Like after the game, they were all acting like they lost because of that bullshit.
Yeah, that was one of the best things that was one of the best takes was actually Baker Mayfield saying that it doesn't really feel like a victory, and you shouldn't have done that. That's not who we are, and that's he deserves to be punished for it, blah blah blah. So he
actually got some points.
I'm not a big Baker fan, but I am happy that he took that level of poise and stand to say that. It was right after it happened too. So.
No, it's props to Baker, man.
It wasn't. There was no way that could have been a prepared statement or anything, because it was literally right after it happened.
Well, meanwhile, Freddie Kitchens has said, "We stand with Myles Garrett."
Yeah, dude. Really? Out of all the bad takes, that's one of the worst that's still out there.
Come on.
They're
Thanks,
trying to get
Freddie.
a suspension reduced by claiming that the rules don't have anything stipulating that you can suspend a player indefinitely for an on-field action. And it's like, how about a crime? Have they had any specific stipulations for trying to commit a criminal offense on the field? That's been a unique circumstance.
It's like if some guy
I mean,
took a
this is
camera
the-
and smashed someone on the head. It's like there's no rules against using cameras. It's like, well, they
No,
don't think you're gonna do it.
This is the equivalent of a hockey player taking off his skate and trying to slash at somebody, or
Yeah.
like taking his stick and trying to. You're using a weapon to attack another player. Like
Yeah.
if Mason Rudolph wanted to, he could press charges, and he probably. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know how. This
Like,
is gonna play
imagine
out,
if,
but I
uh,
should.
I'm surprised he didn't.
It's like
Yeah.
if a baseball player charged the mound and like swung his bat at the pitcher's head or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Which
that's
I think
another-
has happened before, hasn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
there's probably
That's
somebody.
another.
there.
That was another defense that I saw there. Said, well, the fact that Mason Rudolph isn't pressing charges clearly shows that he knows he's at fault deep down. I'm like, that's the word. My final take on this whole thing, because I know we were limited on time today, is that I think that all of us can universally agree that the key word to this entire thing is indefensible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't,
absolutely.
You cannot and should not ever do that, no matter how mad you are. And someone who does, especially if it's someone who has had an habitual problem with disciplinary actions and stuff, he should not be allowed back on the football field. And I'm not ever that guy who says like, oh, he shouldn't get another chance or whatever. This is someone who has had a problem with this, and the level of the infraction, they, on top of it being on national television and on top of everything else that the NFL is trying to do, that, in my opinion, warrants he should not be back ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
Like,
agree.
you
I
have
would not want to see him
Kareem
play
Hunt
football
on
again.
your team, and you
Yeah.
made Kareem Hunt look good.
Yo, and here's the other reality, right? Is we all know he's going to be back on a football
Yeah.
field,
Oh, of
even
course.
though- despite the indefinite suspension. And it's sad, by the way, that we are all completely aware. Like, you see
Dude,
how
if fucking
quickly the
Vontaze
of course
Burfict is
is.
still playing, what do they
Yeah.
care? Like,
I
what
know,
are the odds
exactly,
that this
like-
guy's going to be gone?
And so it's so sad to say that you know that he's gonna be back, and it's because he sacks the quarterback good. And
Yep.
you know that the NFL's always been that. So like that's why whenever they claim any kind of bullshit about, oh, we care about player safety, it's bullshit, because they don't. They care about money, and Myles Garrett sells tickets.
Yep.
So they're gonna put him back on a field. Of course they are.
Yeah.
They're going to, because he sells tickets.
Speaking of selling tickets, here's teams that don't: the New York Jets and the Washington Redskins.
2 for 2. All right, let's go.
Actually, by the way, did you know? Hold on, let me see if I can find the exact stat. But
All right.
we are, I believe, the second highest in ticket sales in the NFL this year.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah.
What?
So very much exactly what I have said, which is the Johnsons don't give a shit about winning. They have the second highest ticket sales with one of the most garbage products on the field in any given week.
Lucky you,
So-
you've managed to string together a couple of wins regardless. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, well done, Rob.
You know, Sammy D put it together. Had a bad pick, but threw 4 touchdowns. So I mean, you know, I'm not gonna be salty, to be honest with you.
I saw a clip of Dwayne Haskins pleading with his offensive line to play
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
which is a sad sight.
I feel so
well,
bad for that.
it's
dude,
like
honestly.
there's a few things that are weird about that. First one is like it's like a rookie quarterback going to like a bunch of veteran offensive linemen being like, "Can you
Yeah.
guys play better?" So I don't know if it's like if it's a thing where like they're playing well and he's like, "Play better," and they're like, "Dude, we're trying," or if they're just like taking it off and they don't give a shit and they're like, "Ah, it's fucking over," and he's just like, "Come on, man." Like, I
It
don't-
does look like they don't give a shit in that clip, but I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you can never take too much of emotion out of just the video clip. With
Yeah.
that said, though, with what he was saying, he was emotional and passionate, but I don't think he was saying, "Hey, you guys suck, help me,
No,
like do
I
better."
think
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
like Krendor said. It's like, will you please care? Like
Yeah.
show that you are trying.
Yeah, and he says like, what can I do to help you?
Yeah,
help me?
that's a great
Like,
way to phrase
Yeah.
it. Even in the emotion of the moment, like he's doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and like, look, I've said this since the draft. Like, I don't think that Haskins is a first round pick. He shouldn't have been drafted in the first round. He's a project player.
Yeah.
And so what that means is it doesn't mean that he's bad and will always be bad. He's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of like skill already. But
It's just that he's on the Redskins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that's the thing is that like when you have a project player, right? Like if you have a project QB, they can't. It's not necessarily the case that they're going to be bad. For instance, Aaron Rodgers, when he came out, he was a project QB. And
Yeah.
guess what? He sat for 3 years and he came out and now he's a fucking Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that that's always going to happen, but I'm just saying in the case of Dwayne Haskins, you probably don't want to give that QB a trial by fire. You don't want to give a project QB a trial by fire. Well, not only is he getting a trial by fire, he's getting a trial by fire on the fucking Redskins. Like, this is the worst possible situation that Haskins could have ended up in.
Yeah.
Like the best situation is like a Lamar Jackson type of thing where he got drafted like late in the first round, went to a good team and got the help that he needed because he needs to learn.
I would argue even the Bengals are a better situation.
Definitely, because they have a built-in QB right there who's going to start over them. The Redskins, they went to Haskins because they ran out of people. Like he straight up shouldn't be starting, and it's unfair to him, honestly. Like it's a bummer.
Yeah.
So the Jets just sort of beat up on a poor old Dwayne Haskins out there. Huh?
Yeah. By the way, I want to mention because I've been sucking his dick all year and last year, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
All right.
But Jamal fucking Adams has 6 sacks on the year.
Big boy doing well.
That is a safety with 6 sacks. You know the closest number 2 has 2. Okay, and
for safeties, by the way.
Safeties, yeah. And then he actually, if you're looking at other positions, he has more sacks than Aaron Donald right now.
Yeah.
He has more, like he is, and that's not mentioning the amount of picks that he has, and 2 defensive touchdowns on the year.
Also, those 6 sacks have come in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think they've started to use him on defense as a rusher because it just keeps working. Because what's happening, and this happened in the Redskins game too. I don't know if this is going to work against good teams, but similar to the Saquon Barkley play, he got his sacks off of them having to block him with a running back. And it's clear now that if you put a running back, it doesn't matter who he is. If you put a running back up against Jamal, he's going to bowl right through that motherfucker, and he's going to get to the QB. So, I mean, he's killing it. And also, so is Bleswan Austin, who, first of all, has a dope name. And secondly, is from New York. He's actually from Queens, and he's been killing it at the corner position, and he's like our 8th string corner. So I'm excited for that. But again, we just beat the Redskins and whatever other else garbage, the Giants last week. So I mean, yeah, we're kings of the garbage. So that's nice.
You're better than the Bucks.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they are pretty much the same record as the Bucks.
That's true.
Wow. I looked at the tankathon. The Jets, Bucks, Broncos, Falcons are all 3-7. Arizona's 3-7-1. So It's a powerful battle down there for the king of the garbage.
We do want to be those kings of the garbage. Well, you got to make sure that you get a pick out of the top 10 as much as possible, because you don't want to be good next year.
That's true. All I know is I'm happy the Packers got the Redskins coming up on the schedule. That's a free win.
Oh, I feel bad for the Redskins. I never thought I'd say that, but I do.
Yeah, can I lock that in like 4 weeks in advance? Is that okay?
Yeah,
dude, like possible. Did you see at the stadium, at the Redskins stadium, they were chanting "Sell the team"? It was like "Sell the team."
Yeah, I heard LA needs another football team.
Well, oh yeah, there's also a link I should put in the links where one of the, I don't know who scored it. I think the Jets player scored it, and he tried to jump into the stands and he fell over the wall.
Yeah, that was Robbie Anderson. He said nobody caught him. He jumped.
No one caught him.
Gotta love it.
Nobody caught him. So, actually, one thing that I did save just to get you a little hype for Sammy D. In all but one start this season, has greater than 63% completion percentage. He has 4 starts with multiple touchdowns. 16 game pace of 3,600 yards. He is outside of literally just the one game, he has completed 67.8% of his passes for a 95.2 rating. And he has 4 games with a yard per average over 9 per attempt, at a minimum of 30 attempts, tied with Dan Marino and Deshaun Watson. Only Mahomes and Goff and Stafford have more before turning 24, and he's 22.
And he lost to the Dolphins.
Also,
That's a great way to stop that. Well,
I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm mad, actually, because I
shock.
have,
What's new for your
Rob
section
mad
of the
about
podcast this week?
but I'm mad because I have hope again. God,
well,
Oh
there's
no!
that hope
no,
sneaking
no.
in.
I hate it because I know it's a mistake. I know. I like the part of my brain that thinks about things says, "Don't do this," but I can't
Hey,
help it. So
You look at the
Well, we
Jets'
lost.
schedule. They got the
Yeah.
Dolphins. They got the Bengals.
Well, the
That's
Dolphins
like-
playing tough. Don't forget.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
The
Well-
Dolphins are heads up 1-0 on that one.
They got
Yeah.
Raiders, Ravens, Steelers, Bills.
I
So I
mean-
mean, they could get like 6 wins in there.
I mean, in fairness, I'm not saying I have hope for this season, but I have hope for the future, and I should.
Well, I mean, if you can see the future, like in the end of the season, like you can see it building up towards something. That's always like a nice little stamp at the end.
Yeah,
of
that's
the
like how
season.
the Niners were last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it'd be an exciting off season. Rob would get really, really like pumped up about the draft, and then they'll hire Adam Gase, and everything's gone down to hell again.
And then our entire offense will literally explode in gore and viscera all over the field in a freak accident
Well-
in the first minute of the
That'd be-
first game.
That'd be pretty metal. I'm not gonna lie.
speaking
Yeah,
of
it would be
false
pretty cool.
hope, the Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Indianapolis Colts. 33-13. Not a great
Rip.
game.
I don't know. I don't know how you and Bear could have seen that one or didn't see that one coming. But
I don't know.
it was because you guys have too much. You have
The
too much
Col-
faith
okay.
in Foles, man.
The
You
Colts
have way
just
too much
lost
faith
He
in
won a
him.
the
Super Bowl over the
Dolphins.
Patriots.
Yeah.
But he's on the Jaguars.
I guess. Yeah, he's on a much
Yeah.
different team now.
Well, I don't know. I thought he'd like carry him to victory or something, but the Colts, they just, I also didn't know if Jacoby Brissett was going to play or if he'd be fully healthy, but I guess he was healthy enough to win. Also,
No, we
uh,
confirmed that last week because I asked about it.
they had
And to be fair, Nick Foles didn't play like poorly, really. Like if you're looking at the
Yeah,
stats.
he's
fair,
just on
looking,
he's just on the Jaguars.
Look at
Yeah.
this. The biggest difference I've seen is the running game, where Leonard Fournette had 8 carries for 23 yards. The Colts had 2 players run for 100 yards. 2.
Yeah.
116 from Jonathan Williams and 109 and a touchdown from Marlon Mack. 2.
And it's honestly, like it seems really strange when I'm looking at the stat line. Like, what was the time of possession in the first half? Because if I'm looking at the score here, it's 10 by the end of the half, it's 10-7. So
Yeah.
like and you look at their ratio here, they have 9 runs and 47 passes.
Yeah.
The score in the first half does not make sense to what their ratio is between passes and runs. I mean, that's silly.
Yeah, that's I can't find time of possession. Through possession. Why is it so hard to find this?
The Jaguars have also allowed 1 passing touchdown in 7 consecutive games for the first time since weeks 10 to 17 in 2017.
Wow.
The Jags had 26 minutes to the Colts 34.
Okay, so there's literally no excuse. That's just
Yeah.
terrible. Like, why are they not running the ball at all?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
Obviously, he's not going to get anything going if you only run him 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
Fournette's in like the top 10 for rushing yards this year too.
Yeah.
I want to make an interesting point about that while I bring it up. Let me read off really fast for y'all. In fact, pretty much the entirety of the top 10 in rushing yards this year.
All
Okay.
right.
Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, Marlon Mack, Leonard Fournette, Chris Carson, Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do all those names have in common? What do all those people have in common? None of them is above the age of 25.
Yeah,
Oh.
That's pretty crazy.
that is
That
wild,
is.
actually. Yeah.
That is,
didn't
the
realize
new
that.
era of running backs is upon us here, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's partly a money thing too, right? Is that like, most. I mean, look at Le'Veon Bell, how he ended up on the Jets. Teams want to put players at most on a first round contract for a running back, because what they can do is exactly what the Steelers did with Le'Veon, which is run his ass into the ground for 5 years and then just, ditch him. Or if you don't want to ditch him, fuck him around a little bit and franchise tag him.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's the new
I love
paradigm
how
for running
we're
backs.
all perpetually involved in the 6 degrees of separation from the New York Jets every single time. Somehow Rob has a way to tie it back to the Jets in some way. It's actually kind of incredible.
Here's
Yeah,
another.
that is a good point, though. Yeah.
Here's another fun stat. There are only 2 running backs over 30. 3 running backs over 30.
Frank Gore. Fucking. Oh, I thought I knew another one.
Peterson.
Oh yeah, Peterson, right?
Yep.
And then who's the third one? This is gonna be a mystery.
Ooh.
Is it McCoy?
Ooh, yep, you got it. LaShawn
Yeah. Oh,
McCoy.
nice.
Yeah.
Boy,
That's
yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
and Mark Ingram is literally 30.
Okay, there you go.
So he's probably the best
practically-
30-year-old running. He's practically retired.
Yeah, practically dead.
So that is really interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So-
Running backs, man, they have a really short shelf life, which is why, like, the Le'Veon Bell thing. That's why I was always on his side, even when he was on the Steelers, because with running backs, they have until about 30, and that's it. That's their money making years. So like. They don't want to be jerked around. They want a long-term contract. They want to know that they're going to be safe.
Unless you're Frank Gore, almost 40 and powering through.
He's still just as fucking good, almost, man.
he's a
Like that
monster.
dude's insane.
And he's on the Bills, who beat the Dolphins 37-20.
Yeah.
He's been on some good teams and bad teams over the years.
He's always been good.
The Dolphins made Josh Allen look amazing. 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. Devin Singletary, 75 yards running. Josh Allen, 56 yards running. Frank Gore, 27 yards
TD.
running. Yeah, I had a rushing TD for Josh Allen. Going crazy. John Brown, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. Glad I got to play against him in fantasy this week. And meanwhile, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 32 of 45, 323 yards, and nothing else.
Dolphins rushing for a combined total of 23 yards for the whole game.
Woo,
Yeah,
and that's
so hot.
on 13 carries for 23 yards. Very nice.
Yeah.
They're
that's
back
a
on their
rough
bullshit, it would seem.
It also appears they, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, they released their running back Mark Walton after he's accused of punching his 5-week pregnant girlfriend several times in the face and head.
Oh!
All right.
So
Keeping it classy, NFL.
it's his 4th arrest in the past year. So
Good.
that's not looking too
He's,
good.
he's on a good pace there.
He'll be suspended for a game.
He'll be well. It's not looking good. So he's not in the Dolphins anymore.
So we reviewed the tape, and it seems that he hacksawed off of all her limbs and then beat her brutally to death with his fist. So Roger Goodell is suggesting a 2-game suspension with,
This just in,
with an
Rob.
appeal.
We have newfound information here. It was actually the fetus who started it. The fetus is the one who started it.
Breaking news. It turns out a player has been smoking marijuana. We will ban him for 4 years out of the NFL. All right.
Cast him into the fiery depths of hell.
Yeah.
That is
Bills have
uncalled for.
The Bills have allowed fewer than 400 total yards of offense in 22 consecutive games. That is the longest streak
Wow.
in the NFL. The
Yeah.
Bills.
Dude, their defense is no fucking joke.
Oh,
a
yeah, I
good
know it,
defense.
man.
Yeah.
I went very Rob there at the end. The Bills.
So we'll have to keep track of them because sometimes they look great, other times they look like the Bills.
Honestly, I think they make it to the tournament, and that defense is gonna fuck a lot of teams. I think that's gonna be spooky.
They're only going to play one in the playoffs. So.
But it's going to be a close game. I'll tell you that right now. It'll be like 6-3. And we had the Cowboys beating the Lions in a close battle, actually.
Very close.
Yeah, the Lions really putting up a much bigger fight than I expected them to without Stafford. I think I'm realizing this year that I place too much value on the quarterback position, even though obviously it is one of the most critical positions on the team. Teams can get on without them, or with at least their suitable backup in the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still looking at all the top teams, you got the Patriots, Tom Brady, Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Chiefs, Pat Mahomes. You got Packers, Aaron
It's a good
Rodgers.
indicator for success, but you can still win with
Drew
a
Brees.
with
Yeah.
a guy.
'Cause,
Yeah. I think we've been on that note quite a bit this year too. Anyway.
Although I'd say Garoppolo, I don't know if he's elite. I wouldn't consider him elite, but I think he's good.
Definitely not yet. Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
a couple years from it.
Yeah.
and honestly, like if you do look at his stat line, it's not that impressive. Although he has been getting better over the course of the year. So
yeah.
Hey, Dak, is there any reason why out of your 444 yards and 3 touchdowns you didn't throw one to Amari Cooper? Because you targeted him 8 times, and I'm not saying that Gallup got more. I'm just saying he got 13 targets for 9 receptions, 100. Where's your boy Amari at?
Even
He
Randall
probably got
Cobb
doubled.
outshining him.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what happens, right? A lot of the time when you have like that one star receiver, you just blanket the other team blankets him, and that opens up things for your other guys.
But Dak should know that I started Amari Cooper. Rob.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
need to get those points.
That's true. I mean, you did email
My,
him
my
several
six
times.
6-game winning streak is over now because of that.
Damn shame.
Apparently,
Well,
Amari
you go up
Cooper's
against me this
also,
week, so good fucking luck, motherfucker.
Apparently, Amari Cooper's also playing with like an injury, like a leg injury or something.
Yeah, he has been riddled this past week, but he was cleared to play. I mean, he got targeted. He just didn't catch the ball because Dak kept on not passing very well to him. He was double covered quite a bit as well, though, as any competent defense should do to Amari Cooper. But still, I need my points.
So the Cowboys again take control of the NFC East in what is a interesting division.
Just
to say the
imagine what's
least.
going to do the power rankings coach.
I can't wait. They're gonna be number 1 at this rate. Then we had the Texans getting blown out by the Ravens. Last time I'll ever pick the Texans. In a crucial game.
Let me please hit you guys with an "I told you so" on that one.
All right.
Yeah, same.
Lamar over Deshaun, 100%.
Also, I forgot J.J. Watt's out for the year, so that's kind of also important.
It is. But I mean, honestly, also it's just like Lamar, and partly like what that offense is doing this year is just crazy. I mean, it is a system that is completely different from anything anyone else not only is running but also has really ever run.
Mhm.
They were talking about it in the game. Like they work primarily out of the pistol, which is like shotgun, but not quite the same.
Which is really funny when you think about it.
Yeah, like they're running everything out of the pistol, which it's like a completely unique offense, and that's kind of what you need to do, right, with a Lamar Jackson, because he is a completely unique skill set.
Yeah.
He's got 11 touchdowns in 3 games.
He's insane, dude.
The Ravens are undefeated when Lamar Jackson runs for 70+ yards.
And this isn't even his final form.
I know he's 22, dude.
He's 22. That's what I've been trying to hype up this whole fucking time.
I mean, we knew we were saying it last season. We're like, dude, Lamar Jackson is going to be an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Like we've been knowing.
We just
this.
weren't ready for him to
think that-
transform to this level this fast.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is that I wasn't expecting to hit Evolution 2 here. We're looking still like Evolution 1, maybe
Dude,
powered up through the Wildlands sort of thing.
This anime plot line is just fucking on full speed ahead. It will not stop.
Also,
he really is only gonna get better. Like again, I keep harkening back to this, but in his college years, he only got better year over year, and he's proven that he's still doing that in the NFL. That has not stopped. So I don't think there's any reason. That's 5 straight years that he's been doing that.
Well,
Dude, he has like a repelling field around him when he's running in alone with the ball. Like I don't understand it. Somehow he just is like he just darts through these openings that I don't even see until he's already through it.
He's crazy,
well,
man.
also give it up for the Ravens defense, who got 6 sacks, I think. 7 sacks. Tyus Bowser, that's an awesome name.
That's good, yeah.
Matthew Judon had 2 sacks. Bowser had 2 sacks. Ferguson a sack. They also have Marcus Peters, who they got from Kansas City, who's been playing like really well. So their defense looks really good too, on top of already being unstoppable on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Baltimore is a lot scarier than I gave him credit for this year.
Yeah.
It's almost like, barring any sort of insane upset at this point, it's Patriots Ravens AFC Championship, and that's a scary game for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can win.
At this point, I actually think the only coach that can devise a way to beat Lamar Jackson is Bill Belichick. That's the only one who's going to figure it out.
Dude, and when
If
they
anybody
when they
can.
played after the game, Lamar said that he was complimenting them, obviously, because that's what you do after you play him. He was saying that like they threw the most complicated schemes he's ever seen up to that point at them, and like Lamar still did Lamar things. Like we tried everything we needed to do, and we still couldn't do it.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Remember
'cause,
what
you
Bill
know,
Belichick and the Patriots did to every other young quarterback this
Well,
year.
here's the thing.
Like-
in Belichick's mind, he's just like, I'll save this shit for the playoffs. I don't fucking care.
Well,
Maybe.
that's the thing. Yeah. Like he does. Bill Belichick is the only one with both the balls and the obvious results to back it up that he saves like a lot for the playoffs. Like they have like a completely different playbook for the playoffs.
Yeah, he's like
Tony
the
Romo
guy...
was actually talking about that on the broadcast for our Pats Eagles game on Sunday. He was saying that they never show their full hand through the course of the regular season. You'll for example, during our game, I should save this from when we're talking about the game, but during our game, we pulled out a trick play that we normally would not ever use unless it was like a dire playoff situation. And they were talking about that, how like we don't show our hand, and that might be the case here, but I don't know if it is. I think we might have tried everything.
That's the thing, right?
I think it's like he's thinking ahead because he knows he's going to go to the playoffs anyway. So he's like, it's a regular season, whatever. He'll like try some stuff, but it's like they're at war or something. It's like, all these ground forces, and then you get to the playoffs, and then you see planes flying overhead dropping bombs. You're like, what the shit?
Honestly, the only reason that I say that I think Bill Belichick is the only guy who can devise because what you're going to need to do to beat Lamar Jackson is you're going to have to come up with a new scheme in football, like something new. And honestly, I think the only coach that is capable of doing that right now is Bill Belichick. And
I thought you were about to tell us how to actually do it, because I was going to be blown
No.
away.
I think
Because I've been trying to think about it. Like, what can you do? What can you do to stop it?
You leave a spy. Okay, great. Then he's just gonna throw on you. If you don't leave a spy, if you don't contain, then he's just gonna run 80 yards.
Yeah. Even if you leave a spy, usually he's a lot more athletic than the spy.
Right?
Is,
Yeah.
So he's
like
just
the
going to run
spy-
around him.
Yeah, spies
Dude.
are usually linebackers.
He's going to
They're not-
sign some random guy named like Tom Boston out of like just an
5'3"
undrafted
white
free
guy.
agent.
Found on the street.
Yeah. They'd be like, this guy's playing a new position called the lineback safety, and he is unbelievable out there.
Both Booger and Joe be like, "Oh yeah, he could definitely handle this big play. The moment's good. It's just the right size."
And then
here."
it'll be
It's a
like
guy who's,
30 to
yodeling
nothing.
out on the field, like flipping around,
Yeah.
like tackling.
It'll be like 30 to nothing. Tom Brady will be like, nobody destroys the Ice Warriors, and then they'll just move on. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We are still here.
Falcons, another blowout win, 29 to 3.
They
Wow.
And it
turned
wasn't
on.
against the Falcons.
Yeah,
Right.
that was something. Wow, Kyle Allen threw 4 picks.
Yeah, he was not feeling it that game.
Yeah, after we just were like, hey, he's pretty good. But
Yet
Well,
again,
if you
man,
never-
divisionals.
yeah,
If you ever needed any other evidence that we don't know what the hell we're talking about, all 4 of us picked the Panthers. To win.
Yeah.
well, it just, I don't know. It felt the Falcons were so bad for so long, but the thing was, I guess their offense was still doing well. The problem was their defense. But now for some reason, their defense is like popped out of nowhere to like look amazing.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
maybe their personnel hasn't really changed much, has it? Like, have they been
No.
having injuries this year?
Were they? Yeah, I
Just-
think they were injured, right? Like, didn't we? Did we look at that?
The NFC
They were injured. They're very injured still.
The NFC South just plays each other so hard that it's very difficult to predict that.
Yeah.
Oh, they got fucking Trufant back. That's why, dude. Desmond Trufant. That's one of the best corners in the game. He was playing
is very
lockdown
good.
that game. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Also, he
big one that
said
one up there.
Dan
Sure.
Quinn credits Ricardo Allen for Falcons' defensive turnaround.
Oh.
So-
Okay.
Whatever it is, they're doing it. So
Yeah.
we'll see how they keep rolling.
I mean, there's no chance for them to come back at this point.
No,
right?
they're 3-7. They're not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
Oh.
But
This was a huge
Yeah,
game for the
I don't know.
Panthers, though, dude.
It
like,
was.
yeah, we said it. I mean, we said it last week. This was a must-win for the Panthers, and they
they
flat
didn't.
out did not. No,
Nope.
Yeah.
they only got a field goal in the fourth quarter. That was all they did.
Well, the Falcons play the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Panthers, the 49ers, the Jaguars, the Buccaneers. They could probably go like 7-9, 8.
Yeah, I don't think they're pulling anything out of this year.
No.
Unfortunately, it's too
So,
late.
yeah,
And
it's too
honestly,
late.
with this year, I don't think this is one of the years where a 7-9 team can make the playoffs.
No.
No, dude,
There's
especially
already like
none
5
of the NFC.
8-win teams
Yeah.
in the NFC.
Right.
Yeah, there's just
Uh,
no chance. So.
yeah.
I mean, this is the year that we're talking about where the Cowboys lost to the Jets, the Ravens lost to the Browns, and somehow they're completely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, San Francisco's already 9-1. The Saints, the Packers, the Seahawks are all 8-2 already. The Vikings are 8-3. Like that's
Yeah.
that's already like a good chunk
How
of
do
the
you
teams
get
going
like
to the playoffs.
Carolina can't make the playoffs? How the fuck
Yeah.
is Atlanta gonna make
Yeah.
the playoffs?
Yeah, and then you got the Cowboys will be it. So it's like it's already looking kind of set. It's just positioning at this point.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had the Saints. Speaking of Saints, beat the Buccaneers in a great game for Drew Brees. 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jameis Winston, a classic 4-interception game.
Yeah,
Right in the-
You put
yeah,
up a Jameis right there, dude. You got to call that a Jameis at
That's
this
a
point
Jameis.
when you throw 4 picks.
yep. And the Bucks bringing out all the stops, coach. We had the red stripe uniforms on today. It was the sweetest fish. Colored red Bucks, and boy howdy did they get after it. And man, Jameis keeping consistent with those interceptions. And as sure as the day is long and the sun rises and the sun sets, good old Bucky Bruce, the first thing that he did on the post-game press conference was defend Jameis Winston when nobody asked him about it.
He's got to be like Winston has got to be approaching. Oh wait, no, is he tied for the most interceptions on a season?
No, he's got
but
18.
he's getting-
He leads
he's-
the NFL.
Yeah, but he's getting there. He's very close. But hey, it's
Isn't it-
okay because Bruce Arians says that some of those weren't his fault.
What's the record? Is it 22?
No.
Oh, yeah,
It's,
what is Season.
Coach he's already
I know
looking
it's
up.
Peyton Manning.
NFL interception single season leaders. Night Train Lane.
Yeah.
What the shit? Night Train Lane?
That's a defensive player. He's that you looked up the most interceptions that he got.
Ah, I
One
see.
season. You
Night-
got to
damn.
look for
Dude,
the
I want
guy.
Night Train Lane on my team.
Yeah.
What the shit? It looks.
It's Peyton at the top.
It's George
thing.
Blanda with 42 in 1962.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, there's no chance he's beating that one.
Vinny Testaverde in 1988 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers through 35.
Oh Lord.
Yep.
That's a lot, man.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
That's like
Uh,
almost 3 a game.
In like
Or
modern,
no, 2 a game. Sorry.
That's impressive,
yeah.
honestly.
modern day players, like in the year 2000, like late 90s, Brett Favre had 29 in 2005.
Oh shit.
I remember because
I mean, Eli Manning's
Um,
19th with 27 in 2013.
Peyton Manning had 28 in 98.
Yeah.
And then 27 is Eli Manning, Drew Bledsoe. Who else is up here? I know Jay Cutler had 26 with the Bears in 2009.
Hey,
So he's
Warren
still got a
Moon.
ways to go for the record, but that
Yeah.
is the most in I think a very long time. I'd imagine.
I
I
will
don't think anybody
say,
stayed in long.
Don't
enough
worry,
to
we
throw
still have
18.
6 games left, Rob.
That's true.
for all that, Jameis is 3rd overall in passing yards in the league this year. So
Gunslinger,
there
right?
you go.
He is one stat that I will say that is hilarious to me is that he has been involved in more plays than any other player in the NFL. He's at like 497 plays that he has been directly involved in. The second closest is like I think maybe 420 something by some other quarterback.
Yeah. He's also been sacked the most at 36 sacks.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that everyone, again, I don't know where these people come from. They're the same people who say that Myles Garrett didn't start it, I guess, because the people are like, yeah, Jameis Winston, yeah, he's been sacked so much and his interceptions are because he doesn't have an O-line or whatever. The Bucs O-line is not that bad.
Yeah.
He is just that bad.
Well, he also has the most pick sixes at 4, which means he's throwing interceptions that are bad enough that it gives the defensive back a wide open lane to like run it back.
Now, there was, I mean, 2 of the interceptions, yes, two of them. One of them was blatantly not his fault. It was a pass that was thrown to, I think it was O.J. Howard, who let it go behind his back. He tried to do some weird juggling act, and then that one got picked off. But the point is that I don't care. You can't tell me that 50% of the interceptions weren't Jameis's fault. That's the first thing that Bruce Arians talks about. He's like, "But y'all will just ever write whatever you want, So just write whatever you want." Bruce, buddy, he had 4 interceptions. He's got so many giveaways in the last 5 weeks now, more than any other player. Talk about indefensible. Jameis Winston is horrible. He's a horrible quarterback. He's not the only reason why the Buccaneers are god-awful, but we've been god-awful for a very long time now. And it's unfair to just say that it's just because of Jameis Winston. But let me tell you something, brother. He ain't helping the situation at all. Giving up his 4 interceptions every single freaking game, Bruce. I have zero confidence in Bruce Arians. Zero.
Y'all have been so consistent for the last few weeks. It's been Sin like trying to explain Jameis's 3 to 4 interceptions a game, and Rob getting upset at like some facet of Jets ownership or something.
Dude, but rooting for a shitty team sucks major balls.
Yeah,
it sucks so much. Dick.
You know how much willpower it takes to be a fan of a bad football team.
I don't understand how you keep doing it
bad
year after
football
year.
team.
I truly don't understand it.
It's
man. Good on you.
Sucks.
Again, I bring up watching other sports like basketball where I keep rooting for the Bulls and they keep being awful, and I'm just like, come on, guys, and they're just like, we're rebuilding, and I'm like, we're losing. It's
Y'all had your
bad.
time. No, nobody's gonna feel bad for the fucking Bulls, dude.
Dude, it's one of those things. Like, I wonder what is worse, the NFL season with a bad team because it's only 16 games, or is basketball worse because it has more losing?
Honestly, it's more
the NFL's way worse.
See,
because every game counts a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I agree. Like that's it. It sucks watching an NFL team, like especially like if you're a Bengals fan.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The thing is, like, you
It
kind
was
of,
bad enough when they were making the playoffs and losing, let alone now just being in the dumpster.
if it's something like baseball or basketball or hockey, like you have enough games where you're like, all right, maybe we can put together a string of something, or like you have like, I don't know, but like football's like, it's an event. Like you build up to that event once a week and then you get shit on, and you're like, well,
let's try again, and then you get
and,
shit on,
and then
shit on,
if
shit
you're already
on.
bad, like you hit this like point of the season, you're bad. It's like, well, it's over. Like you can know in like a few weeks. You're
Rob
like,
knew that week 1 this year. Dude.
We're out. That was no playoffs for us this year, boys. That's
I was legitimately hopeful that Bruce Arians could do something with the Bucks, and now I see that I was just a Jets hope. And he needs to go. He needs to go.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
This was
if they re-sign Winston, I have said it before. I'll say it again. I'm done with the Bucks.
This is a repeat of what Rob just did with fucking Adam Gase.
But I never ever say that though is the thing. I will not support the team if Jameis Winston's the quarterback. He is the problem on so many levels, and the fact that we have a head coach that has a really unhealthy fascination with this man just makes it even worse.
I think this was the Saints, or last week was the Saints trap game, because now they look like they're back on track. So the Packers had their trap game, Saints had their trap game. Now it looks like I thought the Vikings were going to have their trap game, being down 20-0.
Yeah, it was close too.
The Broncos managed to really just show up at a great time, which was the first 2 quarters, and then stop playing football.
Dude,
How about Kirk fucking Cousins,
Kirk
29 of 35 for 303 TDs?
I was
over the
so
last
excited.
5 years, teams that have been down 20 to nothing at the end of the first half have won the game exactly 0 times.
Wow.
Before that, in the last 5 years, teams have been 0-99 when they're down 20 at the half.
That was the 100th. That's
They
magic
ruined
right
it.
there.
It's supposed to be
That
the
is
100 100 for 100.
Well, the thing is, no one would ever know that stat if it weren't for the fact that they just won that game. So now
Yeah.
we're aware of it, if only for the fact that it was ruined.
Well, it made me double upset because 1, that was supposed to be another game up the Packers got in the division, and 2, that was my upset of the week, and they ruined it. Just very dumb. Honestly, the Broncos, all they had to do was just get just another touchdown. That's all they needed, or run the clock. Just run the clock. But props to the Vikings. They came back. They did their thing, and Dalvin Cook actually only had 26 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
It
it
was
was
all on the
actually.
shoulders of Kirk fucking Cousins that game, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They had to come back down
He's the
20.
reason. Fourth quarter comeback is another one on his record, and he showed up that day.
Yep.
And hey, big situation, right? Like it was they were down 20, so that often levied criticism against him that and he's in the big stage.
situation against a 3-6 team though.
Well, you're still down
Not
20. We
exactly
just
playoffs.
mentioned 0-99 for every other team that's had to do that. So
It also gave me NFC or NFC Championship Seattle Packer flashbacks, and it triggered something inside of me. I still remember they were going into halftime. We're up 18-0. Russell Wilson has a 0 quarterback rating, and I was like, haha, Super Bowl, here we go. And then it was just I don't like
And you
reliving it.
blacked out after that.
Yeah, it's just all a blur after that.
It made me even happier because Coach was the only one to pick the Broncos, and I could easily take up another game on him. So
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
I know this isn't new news or anything, but Thielen and Diggs, man, are probably the best wide receiver tandem in the league. I straight up. I don't think there's another tandem out there.
I'd say
that's-
Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley are probably better.
You think so? I don't know, man.
I would say.
Thielen hasn't even been in. He's coming back after the bye.
That's true, but he's already got 600 yards on the year. He's
are very
one of the
good,
top
I
in the
would say.
league.
Yeah, they are very good.
Yeah.
We gotta move on though because Coach doesn't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
left.
we gotta keep it. We gotta keep it rolling here. All right. 49ers beat the Cardinals.
Surprisingly good game. That was
Yes.
they had 7 or 8 lead changes, I think, in the last few minutes of that game. It was
49ers actually got 19 points in the fourth quarter. They practically made a fourth quarter comeback too. They were down 3 with a minute left.
Honestly, the Cards look like the Niners did last year.
Yeah.
Where it's they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You can tell, especially Kyler Murray. I mean, you watch him play, and it's guy, he's got serious potential.
Yeah, when they get a couple free agents, some good draft picks next year, they're gonna be really good. That
Mhm.
whole division's gonna be good. Goddamn.
Yeah. I mean,
so-
besides the Rams.
Yeah. But yeah, Cardinals had
Speaking of quarterback streaks here, when we were talking about Lamar Jackson, same thing goes for Garoppolo as well. The Niners are now 8-0 in which games where Jimmy throws for more than 275 passing yards.
Oh,
which
wow.
as a team, that's a lot easier to do than 70 rushing yards as a quarterback.
Wow, the 49ers only had 14 yards on 12 carries for Tevin Coleman, and Mostert had 13 carries, 6 yards. They didn't run the ball at all.
It was all passing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That
Niners
is crazy.
are scary. They're scary.
Yeah.
They're a running team too. They've been running a lot this year.
Yeah, that's what's weird about it.
Yeah, they usually run a very balanced attack. But the Cards isn't Patrick Peterson still out? So
Yes, I believe
yeah, I
that.
think so.
So their
Wait, no, he's
secondary
playing.
is-
He played.
Oh, he played. Okay.
He did play. So that's a little more impressive.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on. Patriots Eagles.
Ooh,
I saw,
that was scary.
I saw some
wow.
of that game. The old Patriots, Julian Edelman touchdown coming at you.
Oh, that was so fun. I love it, man. Dude, his career passer rating is astronomically high.
Yeah.
He's done really well.
Buccaneers should grab him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I would take him. Happily.
He was a quarterback at Kent State, by the way. The game was boring as shit, but a nail biter throughout all the way till the end. Hail Mary was batted down to, or no, they almost caught it, but I think it was like just out of bounds or something. I don't remember, but yeah, it was pretty close. There were like 11 straight punts in the second half, so it was pretty shitty. But our offense is not very good, unfortunately. I think that's the big takeaway from this game is that our offense is not great, and we need to figure it out before the playoffs, or we probably won't be able to keep up with the Ravens.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much
honestly, like watching Patriots teams over the years. I mean, beyond the winning, but like, and beyond the other stuff, like it shows how good of a fucking coach Bill Belichick is, because every fucking year he puts out a team that's held together with rubber bands and paper clips.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, because everyone's trying to be like, oh, you guys have had so many good players like Randy Moss and Gronkowski, rah.
No,
those have been the fucking anomalies, dude.
Yeah, for real. Like seriously, over the years, it's a team of fucking outcasts.
Absolutely.
And they win the Super Bowl like every fucking year. I think honestly, more than anything else, that is a testament to the fact that Bill Belichick is just on a completely different level than anyone else in the league.
Also, that sounds like
fan, Rob.
I mean, look, I get the wrong end of the stick from Bill Belichick twice a year, so I get to see a lot of them.
That sounded like a 60 and 60 documentary, like beyond the winning. But
I'm sure that's coming after he retires.
Yeah, probably.
To be fair to the Patriots offense, the Eagles defense is not terrible. They've allowed fewer than 20 points in 3 straight games now.
Yeah, and they played well. It's just, I mean, like we expect to score more than 20 points a game, and so when we don't, Brady's pissed. And he was.
Tom was not having a good time.
Yeah,
he wasn't having a good game either. I mean, he
is
barely above 50%.
Yeah, this is the first game in his career in which he did not lead the team in passing touchdowns because Julian threw the only one.
That's hilarious, actually.
Speaking of teams not having fun, the Cincinnati Bengals are now officially 0-10.
Yay! They're the only team that's been officially eliminated from the playoffs.
It's like the fastest elimination that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a team just flat out of it by week 10.
Yeah,
it's week 10. There's still 7 more weeks.
Yep. And they're not even in the NFC. They're in the AFC that has like a more wide open playoff.
It's week 11. It is week 11.
That's week 11.
Still though, I mean, it's wild.
Yeah. I think the Raiders took the game off and still won. Derek Carr 25-29, looking good. Like Raiders still 6-4, still look pretty good.
Dude.
Yeah. Then we had the Rams beat the Bears and was
poor Bears.
Man, it was a boring game.
Sorry, sorry, Bear.
I
appreciate you going along with the species allegiance, but man, oh wait, no, you didn't. You didn't.
No, I picked the Rams. I'm just saying, sorry,
fuck
Bear.
you then.
Also, it was the Bears missed, I think, like 2 field goals to start the game.
Yeah.
It was they are not good on offense.
So Mariota quarterback controversy next year?
Probably at this point.
Bears,
They'll take anybody over Trubisky.
But I mean, go ahead, Bear.
I was just gonna say, just for Trubisky's sake, I feel kind of bad for him because he's just a kid still. He's like 24, 25. Right?
He is still very young. Yeah.
I feel like he's another quarterback that's more of a project that they kind of thrusted into a starting role and like, all right, you're the star.
I mean, they traded up to get him. I mean, this has been a point that's been beaten to death lately, but they traded up to get him in a draft that had Watson and Mahomes taken later on in the same round. So it's like he's got a lot of pressure on him, and he's aware of that. So it's like
Lamar Jackson.
See, the thing is, like, the thing about Trubbs is that he did get a fair shake. Like Haskins, he's not getting a fair shake right now. Colt McCoy didn't get a fair shake. David Carr didn't get a fair shake.
Yeah.
Smith in New York didn't get a fair shake. Trubbs, He got a pretty fair
yeah.
shake.
Yeah.
He had like one of the best teams in the league last year.
Yeah.
One of the best defenses, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the whole
Probably
NFL.
still this year. I imagine their defense.
Yeah, they're
is
still very
like,
good.
Top, you know,
It's just
If he was on the Bucks, would you have given him the boot by now, Sin?
No.
No.
No, Trubisky, no, because he's got weapons that you can at least build around. He's got. I think that he's got much better vision than Jameis Winston does. I would rather see him play more than Winston would, but I do agree that Trubs this year was supposed to be the year that everything was coming in place. The defense had established themselves as an elite defense. Everything was looking good. The Bears are one of the biggest surprises this season, to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be real good this year. And
That's why I love
that offense is just awful.
Love listening to Chicago sports radio. Again, the calls in, they're just like, we traded up to get this guy when you got the Deshaun Watson right there behind you at the pick. That's what I think people are mad about is the trade up.
And beyond the trade up too. Like if we're not just gonna levy it all on Mitch Trubisky, and I don't think we should.
No.
You know, the Khalil Mack trade ultimately is not looking in year 2 to be as much of a slam dunk as it seemed, because
is he hurt right now?
No.
No, he's playing.
He's playing.
The Raiders have the same amount of sacks on the year as the Bears do. So it's it is looking, and remember
right now,
that was
Khalil
a fucking
Mack
boatload of
has-
picks.
Yeah.
Picks that could have gone to helping out Mitch Trubisky with more offensive power.
The Bears
But-
really like trading away picks.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack right now has 5.5 sacks, which you look at the
That's not bad, but that's not.
you look at
like,
the Packers, who did not trade away any picks and just signed the Smiths, who have 10 sacks and 8.5 sacks.
Yeah.
yeah. Like this dude was just. I just looked it up because I was curious, and yeah, he just signed the highest defensive player contract in NFL history.
Right.
He's being paid 141 mil over 6 years.
Yeah.
That's you expect a lot more out of that guy.
Yeah.
We are still playing a lot of hindsight here too, though. I mean, it could
True.
very well have been to the reverse, and the Bears defense was just as good as they were last year.
See, that's the thing though, is that like I know
Teams
I hear
change.
this argument all the time that like people are like, okay, the QB is the most important position. Most people are completely fine saying that. But then a lot of people say that the second most important position is defensive end or edge rusher specifically, right? And then they follow that up by saying that a defensive end can make you a winning team. And see, that's the part that I take issue with. I don't think that's true. I think a good edge rusher will certainly make your defense a lot better than it would have been. On a
edge rusher
solo
makes
level.
it so you don't have to play the other positions as well as you should. Like, it'll make it
Yes,
so you don't
right.
have to cover as long because you're getting pressure on the quarterback. He's going to make bad throws, so even a bad corner will get better chances at getting interceptions because the pass is off.
Right.
Exactly. And yes, hindsight's 2020, but I think this further cements my already kind of held view that like you should not be giving up quarterback value trades for anything that's not a quarterback, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
I definitely agree with that one. But hey, the Bears 4-6 now. Rams 6-4, and I still think the Rams are just a mediocre team. Like, they didn't even impress me watching that game. I was like, they're okay. So
Yeah.
then the Chiefs beat the Chargers on Monday night in Mexico City, and just like we thought, it was a close game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just squeaked by. Poor Philip Rivers. My
4
God.
interceptions. What was he, Jameis
Sad,
Winston today?
It is
Dude,
Yeah,
he's come up just short so many times.
Yeah.
This season alone, they've lost like 6 or 7 games by 7 or less points. Like, he just can't quite make it.
Dude, I read a comment on Reddit that was like hey, reminder, Philip Rivers wants comeback player of the year, not because he was injured the previous year, but because he was bad the previous year. So that was in like 2013. So it is like weird seeing him to some degree throw in those 4 picks, but like man, the chart. I think one of the weirdest parts of this game is that Rivers threw 4 picks and it was still as close as it was.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Chargers
The
aren't
Chiefs
bad.
are kind of falling apart a little bit.
I think,
Yeah.
the Chiefs
Chargers
are
are
falling
decent
apart.
still, but yeah, exactly.
Chiefs definitely aren't as good as they were last year.
Definitely not.
I
But
mean, the injuries have been hurting them a little bit too.
Yeah.
I know their O-line is really banged up right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and
that's
Kareem
all you
Hunt
need,
is
though.
gone, and,
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is a piece of shit, but also was injured
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
But
So
like sometimes it doesn't even matter. Sometimes you get hot at the end of the season, and you just ride it through the playoffs. Like you never know.
Yeah.
That's
the thing.
So then maybe they'll line up on sides again this year. So that'd be great for them. So that's all the games this week's Invicta Power Rankings.
Thank you, Coach. Time for the NFL Power Rankings, NFL.com Power Rankings Top 5. We have a new Top 5, Coach. New Top 5, starting
shit.
with, as always, Robert.
I will say the Patriots.
Yes, Bear.
The Ravens.
Yes, Coach.
Ooh.
49ers.
Yes, Robert.
The Cowboys.
Come on now.
The Saints.
Yeah, Bear for the dunk.
The Packers.
No. One more strike, Coach.
Seahawks.
That is correct. The
Hey.
Seahawks. It was a good guess, Bear. It was, but
Yeah.
the Saints were the ones to usurp the Packers from the top 5. Packers now drop to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Niners, Ravens, Patriots, Seahawks, and the Saints moving up to 5th position from 6th. Packers actually dropping down. We'll get to the rest of the top 10 here in a second here, but first we got to go to the fattest doink. I got it there. Don't worry.
Hell yeah.
I got it. I understand it now. I've been like studying my notes,
Going back in the podcast, trying to figure out the terminology.
Now I'm gonna give this one to Bear because last week this is the first time in NFL Power Rankings, PowerRankings.com history here that we've had this happen where this week's fattest doink was also last week's thinnest dink.
Oh.
What
That's
team?
surprising.
What team had the fattest doink? Completely reverting back to I think what they were 2 weeks ago, dropping 4 spots. Bear, you get one guess.
Oh, let me go with the Dolphins.
That is incorrect. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers dropping 4 spots after rising, I believe, 4 spots last week. They have completely reverted that. I could be incorrect. I'm pretty sure that they're last week's thinnest dink here. So apologies to Steeler fan. It was a crushing defeat in a lot of different ways. You could say like almost like cracking the proverbial egg over the head with a helmet. And it was a good. It certainly was fun. Now,
I really
Coach,
should have guessed that. I don't know why I didn't guess that.
Coach, this is going to be the shocker, the thinnest dink of this week. It is a team that's never had this distinction before, Coach. They rose 3 spots. Can you guess the thinnest dink?
Is it the Atlanta Falcons?
It is the Atlanta Falcons, rising 3
Shit.
spots, going from the 25th spot to the 22nd spot, vaulting over notable teams such as the 4-6 Bears, who have now dropped down to 23rd, the 3-7 Broncos, the 3-6-1 Lions, and the Cardinals, rounding out the bottom of the 25th and 26th spot. Cardinals actually rising 1. Now, Robert.
Yes,
Rob, this one's near and dear to my heart. This is going to be probably the toughest question.
Oh boy.
With both of our teams being at 3-7, Robert. True or false? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still ranked above the New York Jets, football Jets, down there in the doldrums of the NFL PowerRankings.com Power Rankings. The Buccaneers, true or false, are still above the New York Jets at 3-7.
Considering we are on a 2-game winning streak and you are on a 1-game losing streak, I'm gonna say that I don't remember whether it's true or false here, but I'll say that the Bucs are below the Jets now.
That is absolutely correct. The Jets are indeed
Let's
above
go.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who fell 2 spots all the way down to 28th, with the Jets rising like the Greek gods themselves, going from 29th to 27th. And now finally, guys, we got to round out. Well, first off, the bottom 3, we already know it didn't change. It's going to be the Giants, Redskins, and the Bengals. But now comes the important thing, the rest of the top 10. Before we go to Pick'ems, because I know Coach has to go.
Yep.
Top 10 here. Can you name the bottom, just the bottom 4 teams? I already gave you I'll give you the first 6. Again, it's the Niners, Ravens, Patriots, Seahawks, Saints, and Packers. Bottom 4 of the top 10, Robert.
Oh man, because you're phrasing it like that, I have to I have to guess this because I have to know, but I suspect your phrasing suggests that the Cowboys are rated number 6. So I'm going to say the Cowboys.
We already know the Packers are 6, Rob.
Never mind. So the Cowboys.
Yeah, Bear.
Chiefs?
Yep, Coach. You got two teams left.
Texans?
Yes, surprisingly, that's the big surprise. And Rob, can you get the other team?
Is it surprising?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I am going to say that it is the Bills. Are they in the top 5? They're not in the top 5.
That is incorrect. Bear, you get one more guess.
Raiders.
That is incorrect. It's the Minnesota Vikings coming in at the 7th position with the 8th spot still held by the Dallas Cowboys. The Chiefs going up to 9th, and the Texans somehow inexplicably staying in the top 10 despite that embarrassing loss that they had to the Ravens, with the Rams rounding out the 11th position. Raiders actually climbing up to the 12th, and the Eagles falling 2 spots. The Bills, surprisingly, the 7-3 Bills, still
below all those teams, really.
Yeah, below all those teams, but of course the most notable team out there, because they are America's team, the Cowboys, staying at the 8th rank, beating other notable teams such as the Chiefs, the Texans, the Rams, the Raiders, the Eagles, Bills, Colts, and we've already gotten to the Steelers.
That is
so
wild.
That is it for the power rankings. Back up to studio, Rob in the booth with Coach and Bear and Rob.
That's me.
All right. Well, I got to go very soon, so let's power through some pick'ems. Colts, Texans,
Power
Thursday
pick'ems.
night power pick'ems.
Colts.
Colts. Colts.
I'll
Yeah,
take
Colts.
the Texans. The Texans?
the
I'll take the Texans.
Take the Texans.
Got one
I'll take
there
the
going,
Texans.
Tekken.
I need to climb back.
Said to Colts, I'm going Colts. Fuck.
All right. Yeah, I need some upsets to get back up there.
Yeah,
Dolphins.
I am the leader. I'm the leader, Coach.
Yes, we know. We know.
Browns. Go Browns.
I want the Dolphins to win because that would be hilarious, but go Browns.
Honestly, I see the Dolphins doing some crazy shit. Dolphins.
I'm going Browns.
All right.
Browns.
Don't put too much faith back in the Browns. I'm not.
Lions, skip it.
Redskins.
Yeah.
Lions. Yeah, that's a Lions. That's a Lions. Raiders, Jets. I'll take the Raiders.
Yep. Give me
I
the
just-
Raiders.
This is tough, but I'm.
Rob's
gonna go
taking.
Raiders.
He's taking the Raiders. Oh,
Yeah, I think the Raiders are gonna win this one, but this is tough. We'll see.
I don't think it's tough. I think the Raiders are gonna win. Then we have Giants, Bears.
Go Bears.
Giants.
I'm gonna take the Giants.
Yeah, Giants.
I'm gonna take the Giants too.
Go Bears.
Bear.
Go Bears.
Panthers, Saints.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
it's
I don't
just-
know. Like, they both got their asses kicked by the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
At home it's got to be the Saints though.
Yeah, I'd say
me.
Saints at home.
I'm gonna take the Panthers.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm gonna
Okay.
take the Panthers in a massive upset
all right.
to keep their
Seahawks.
season alive.
Seahawks, Eagles.
Seahawks.
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 Yep. Seahawks.
All right. Buccaneers, Falcons. I'll take Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons here for sure.
I'm going to be going with the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't want to I vowed earlier this year that I wouldn't do this, but I'm gonna take the Falcons.
All right. Broncos, Bills. I'll take the Bills.
I could
Yeah.
see the Broncos winning.
I
this
could
game.
too, but I don't
Definitely,
trust them after last week.
Yeah.
I can't. It's the
All
Bills.
right, yeah, it's Bills.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Bills.
Steelers, Bengals.
He laughed before he even said it.
I'm gonna lock in the Steelers, boys, on this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, if their quarterback can take a helmet to the face, then he's got to be tough. So I'm gonna go Steelers.
of winning.
Want game of the week? Jaguars, Titans.
Ooh.
I'll take the Titans.
I'm taking
I
Titans,
guess,
yeah.
yeah.
Derrick Henry's too good. It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, Titans are
Yeah.
home.
I think it's got to be Titans.
Yeah, Titans
Derrick
at
Henry's
home.
gonna have more of an effect on the game, in my opinion, than Nick Foles is. So that's tight.
He's good.
Cowboys, Pats.
Pats,
Pats, yeah.
Pats.
Yeah.
lock him in.
Trap game for them.
Lock him in for me.
Oh, that's a lot.
Oh.
Packers, Niners.
Game of the week,
That is
coach.
probably
It's
game of
gonna
the
be the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm obligated to take Packers.
I'm gonna go Packers.
Hey, thanks.
I'm gonna take Niners, but this really is a
coin flip.
It's gonna be a coin flip game. Yeah,
This is gonna
Yeah.
be a good one, dude.
we're
Yeah.
healthy. Everybody on our team practiced, so I'm happy about
And
that.
I've got Rodgers playing this week, and
Ooh.
I'm not sure if I should.
Oh,
or not.
fuck. Well, then I should root for 49ers. Never mind. I'm gonna change the vote.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, come on. This will help me boost in the stats again. And then we've got Ravens, Rams.
Birds.
I
Yeah,
am
I
going
got-
to lock in the Baltimore Ravens to further prove that the Rams are overrated.
Yep, I got the Ravens. I don't think there's any way they could lose this one at all.
Yeah.
After that Browns lost, I think they've worked out all the kinks that they may have had. I think they're on a rampage for the rest of the year. I'm going
Yeah.
Ravens.
Yeah.
So we
And who
got
doesn't like their kinks?
yeah.
You got a
Um,
good point.
I'm sure Bruce Arians' kink is praising Jameis Winston.
I'm pretty sure Bruce Arians' kink is doing something other than praising him.
Oh, man.
Kink is
So
something that
Victor,
James
who
Winston
you
doing
lock
something
it in?
I just
gonna
realized
go
we
ahead.
got. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and lock in the Las Vegas Raiders. Over
Nice.
the Jets.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Shit.
Sorry,
We
Rob.
get 49ers Packers this week, and we get 49ers Ravens next week.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
That's
actually
gonna
some
be
pretty good games.
Yeah.
I hope they flex that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Even
they definitely
Vikings
will.
Seahawks Monday night. That's another good game.
Yeah.
Wow,
oh yeah,
that'll be
actually, no, they
great.
got. Oh, they'd have to flex Pats Texans. Never mind. No, don't do that.
Bear, who's your lock?
I like Pats.
Yeah, you like Pats.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
There we go. That's it. That's the podcast this week. Thanks for listening. I gotta go. Please subscribe on YouTube. Watch all the ads. Don't skip them. Don't skip those ads. And
Tell your friends.
Tell
Three
your
guys and a
friends.
bear.
to
Tell
show
your
everybody.
grandma.
Yeah, tell your grandma. Be like, Grandma, you like football? Listen to these guys rant about it. And she'll be like, oh, this is crazy.
I love them guys talking about football.
Tell them on the point that we
yeah.
sing Star Wars at the end of every episode.
All right.
They
Yep,
love
we're
that.
done. Thanks for watching. Bye. Wait, you didn't even sing. You didn't even sing Star Wars.
I did. I was.
It's
No,
not
I
Star
didn't.
Wars, Rob.
All right, now we're
Star
done.
Wars.
We're done. Bye.
Dun-dun-dun.
Bye. Bye.